Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is Dumb E Dumber, and we're here to report on E3 for you guys. We're going to do probably 2 videos, I think. One focusing maybe more on Xbox, and one focusing on the PS4.
Yes, that's right, Meat Wagon.
Because there's a lot to talk about.
This just coming in.
Wait, hold on. Make this right.
Look at that.
I get my dumber hat on.
That's a nice one, and that's actually better quality. It's from what, the surplus store?
This is from a military surplus store. It's pretty cool. I don't know. You know what's cool about it is the short bill. I don't know if you can see that. They're not like traditional hats. They're fitted, but it's a short bill.
Now you look like you're from SoCal. Is that what they call it?
Southern California? I'm from there.
I know.
All right. So E3. Here's what we did. When we first got there, we went the first day, so it was a noon opening, and we went straight into the
the console section,
the Northern Conference Hall, which was where Xbox and PS4 was. So we went straight to Xbox One right off the bat just to see the crowds that were going to be in the console sections. And the Xbox One, it was unbelievable. We took a couple pictures. You probably saw it on Twitter or Facebook, or even in our little video that we put up from that first day. But I mean, it was literally like...
Oh, it's like so hard to get in. Yeah. Even to get a picture of the Xbox One in the glass casing, right. It was just packed. Like, you actually have to force your way through just to get through there. And even when you're closer, people are like pushing you out of the way. It's like...
It was really interesting stuff, but the funny thing I found was where they had the Xbox One, and ultimately when we got over to PS4 is the same thing. They put them in cases, right? And they're dark. The consoles themselves are black, but they put it on this weird white,
like a fluorescent
white lighting, which everybody was having problems taking pictures of it. I think it was done intentionally because it darkens out the console because of all this white, even with a flash. So that was
You're good, Microsoft.
Real good.
Real good.
So let's get to some games.
Well, in the section there, actually, one of them, and we made a list. Meaty gave me a pad of paper. I was going to put it in this, which is technology's like, just use pen and paper.
I like writing.
It's traditional.
I like writing.
I'm like, oh, how do I do this again? I don't know how. But when we went in the area, like, we got a list of the ones that we're going to talk about, but one of the things that they were doing a huge demo on was it Spark? Project Spark. If you saw the trailer, and if you haven't, just look it up or whatever on YouTube, but basically, it was like creating your own game. That was the way they were selling it. And it was very cool. It was kind of like almost a paint program. Put a village in here, put a house here, and put grass and trees. And then also you could play in it and play against bad people. But there's not a lot of... it interests me because it's, we play a lot of Minecraft, which is like creating these awesome adventures. And I saw the potential in that game. And I was like, man, it looks awesome, like a cartoon. If they can do something with that, with mods, and allow it to sort of... You can create it and maybe customize the way people speak in towns.
Right.
It could potentially be an amazing game. Right. But there wasn't a lot of info on it.
We watched it for a good 15 minutes. And the thing that was unique was the guy doing the demonstration was on a touch screen. It looked like a 42 to 50 some odd inch touch screen, right? So he's doing he's doing all the touch screen stuff, right? Yeah. And it's obviously easier, he's filling in mountainous areas and he's picking different things out of menus and changing menus and doing searches, bringing in trolls.
It was simple it looked super simple to use.
Making the pathways.
Just covering it. Yeah, it's like, pathway here. We're automatically connected to houses if you went by it. Like, it was super, super simple looking.
But all of that is as amazing as it was. We don't really know what the end result is because he was just building and building and bringing trolls that you could, I guess, fight.
Yeah, like, can you make an RPG story?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it goes from town to town.
It seems like you're basically creating your own world and then you can play in that. Don't know that for sure, but if that's the case, that's going to be a really fun game because bringing out like your creative side, kind of like what happens in Minecraft, but instead of generating a random world, you're creating the mountains, you're creating the paths, the villages,
and it was
the mobs.
Simple. Yeah, it was very simple.
It looked really good.
If you guys make maps for us and we could play them, it would be so much fun.
Yay, Project Spark.
So let's get into this. This one is standard for both PS4 and Xbox, and that's Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts. Obviously, we have an interest in that. Both like, first-person shooters. I don't know which one. Are you excited? Really honestly, like, are you more excited for one over the other, or it's just like, oh, it's gonna, you know, they both look decent, they both look like something we played.
I'm always looking forward to playing the next installation of the Call of Duty series and the Battlefield series.
Yeah.
I played a lot of both when they first came out. I didn't post a lot of videos. I played them a lot.
Yeah. Battlefield 3 especially.
Battlefield 3, and I had a lot of fun with that. We played a ton of it. I didn't post a lot, but I did enjoy playing it. Now, what I've seen of Call of Duty Ghosts, and I'm surprised myself by this, is watching the campaign, and the idea of the campaign looks really interesting to me, but I think they missed the mark.
What do you mean by what?
Well, from what I heard it's the guy and his brother. All right? Again, you know, and
no co-op.
And there's no co-op.
No co-op.
Like, what a
it's a story of two people.
That's
it's a perfect opportunity
it's
to
like
have
the guy and his brother are battling
optional
their way.
co-op. Don't have to force it,
Optional.
but if it's two people going through this, him and his brother, why not make a co-op?
But
You're right.
But that aside, it looks really good, and I think that
fish
Infinity
move.
Ward,
when you're swimming, they move.
They move out of your way. Yeah, that's what he noticed. The fish.
Look at those fish! That's incredible.
But I think Infinity Ward has always done a good job with campaigns. I think they have.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you know, everybody talks about the multiplayer. The multiplayer almost has its own momentum. Whether someone says they like it or they don't like it, no one really knows. But just looking at the campaign side, it looked interesting to me, but I think they missed the mark where they could have brought in
an opportunity
co-op
to expand the series, the franchise even more.
Could you imagine that? I mean, they're like World at War, you could play co-op against the campaign missions, and it was so much fun. You know, we talked about co-op stuff, and there's another interesting one that we're going to talk about with co-op, where I think it's good that they did it, and that I don't agree with.
We'll talk about
Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, Elder Scrolls Online, that's right. And I believe that's for both, or multi-systems, so PC, Mac,
it's
Xbox,
going to be for everyone.
And PlayStation 4.
They released it during the PS4 one, but it's not that it was an exclusive. You may get something little like timed or an outfit or something, but it's going to be on all platforms. But for me, this is just for me.
Just for you.
Elder Scrolls, games like that, I love the immersion of that being a solo game.
Yeah, there's certain games that are really good solo.
Right, like immersion-wise, Fallout, things like that.
And for PlayStation, I think of Uncharted. Like, I mean, I know they added on multiplayer, but it was that amazing storyline that you didn't really want to have to wait for someone else, and you enjoyed that immersive experience.
Those games are built on the interaction between you and the NPCs, the characters in the game. So, I don't know, it remains to be seen. I'll try it out, but it almost feels maybe a little World at Warcraft-ish, like you're going to go on quests as a group.
But what if though they do
know.
set it up that you can more or less have the same single-player experience going on your quest like you do right now?
Yeah.
But when you want to, you can engage. You can see people fighting, like real online other people around the world fighting a creature, and you can choose to go there and help them out, or go along.
That might be the cool part. It's like the series that I do. They're modded, right? And the mods include player-created quests. Okay, so it brings a whole new, different feel to the game. And if you can go and attack other real people, sword fight, bows and arrows against other
clans
online
and
people,
like
that might be kind of cool within the world of Elder Scrolls.
But it could also backfire, because if you just want to have a solo experience on this online,
and someone's
like to a certain degree, and then all of a sudden you've got this horde of people that are just going around and frustrating you.
You never know. So that remains to be seen. It's interesting concept for sure. Again, developers like expanding the playability of these games. I like that. I do.
Right. Another one. This one I think is exclusive as far as we know for Xbox One, and that is Dead Rising 3. Now you got 2, I've got 2. I wasn't a big fan of it.
I played it on PS3, I think.
Oh really? Oh yeah. That's where I played. No, I played it on PS3. I played it
before. It's a fun game. It's a zombie game, and it's fun. You can
custom
create weapons. That's what's fun about it. This kind of kicks off the talk of, I don't like the business aspect of this, where people are going exclusives just so you'll buy their console.
Even for the PlayStation 4, like
both systems.
I've always said that actually about Uncharted. I feel frustrated for those of you out there that don't own a PlayStation, because it's such an amazing game.
Yeah.
I don't care about the logistics of it. Like, well, it can't because it's on a Blu-ray. I'm like, I'm not talking about that aside. I'm talking about how fun the game is, and I wish that everyone as a gamer, PC, Mac, Xbox, that you could enjoy that game.
I realize that exclusives help sell certain consoles. And like Halo was to Xbox, Uncharted, God of War was to PS3. And like what Naughty Dog is like a Sony, is an extension of Sony.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but leading into Titanfall.
Oh, yeah.
This was like a dagger, right? Titanfall is made by Respawn Entertainment. For those of you that don't know, Respawn Entertainment is Vince Zampella,
Jason West,
and a group of
huge number
30 some odd original Infinity Ward developers, programmers, designers.
Not the ones that made Modern Warfare 3.
Right.
We're
talking about Call of Duty 4, and who made, this is important, made Modern Warfare 2, but right there is when the fighting happened between them and Activision.
They're like, whatever.
They're not going to support it. The game went crazy with noob tubes, but the game itself was awesome, right? The playability,
hit detection, how smooth it was.
Yeah, those guys make good games. So they branched off, went under the EA umbrella. They started making a game. It got released saying it's going to be Titanfall. It looks like Call of Duty and Mech Warrior combined, right?
I was actually blown away. I would say that Titanfall, for me, is a first-person shooter game that I'm waiting for. It's like this next-gen experience. And I noticed when I was watching it and shooting the weapons, very similar feel or look and move to Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. Like the ACR that was like the laser. Yeah. But I enjoyed that. I don't care that it was, it didn't have super amount of kick. I liked the precision in that game. It was still fun to play. But when I saw Titanfall, I was like, man, that looks and has the feel. It looks like it's going to feel like Modern Warfare 2. And right away I was like, holy crap, I got to play that.
Yeah.
Xbox exclusive. Again, there's a good chance, and I know it's on PC. I know you're like, well, it's Microsoft, PC. So it's Xbox One and PC.
We're talking gamers in general.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, but the feel of it, I love the mech part.
Yeah.
And then you could easily see that it's like, overpowered or whatever. But I think there's a balance there because as a person out of the mech, you just jump on top of them. They can't even hit you because they're so big, and you're just destroying them. Yeah. And I think that's such an awesome balance. Who knows? Did they show a lot of the multiplayer at all?
They did. They showed a little bit of it. Yeah, they showed like they were calling in Titanfalls as a kill streak,
awesome.
And it comes down, and then the front opens up. And as they run up to it, the hand of the mech goes down and brings them up inside. And then the
visuals, like multi-screen.
It almost looked like when you merge 3 PC screens together and you play across. It had like the divisions of the different screens, but the whole thing was open, and it looked incredible. But like I said, the other side of this, it's like, if you want to compete on the level of Call of Duty and Battlefield, these are the big boys, right? They always say, well, who's the Call of Duty killer? Who's going to knock these guys off?
It's not an exclusive.
You're not going to knock anybody off by going exclusive.
Whether it was for PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, it doesn't matter. A game like that, who knows what the reasoning for it. Obviously, Microsoft shelled out a ton of cash for the exclusivity of it because everyone was, we're watching this. This was something we were anticipating. Yeah. And for me, they didn't disappoint in what they showed. I was like, wow, that's exactly what I want. But Microsoft knew that, and probably to help with development costs to ensure, a company, even though they have experience starting over, they need to make sure that they're not going bankrupt. They need to make sure that the money is there. And obviously, Microsoft's like, don't worry about it. You make it on our platform, we'll help pay for it. You'll be out of the red from day one. Everything else is just gravy.
It's less money that EA has to dump.
Little disappointing of that. I mean, I would have enjoyed playing it on multiple systems.
I said this years ago that I think that the deal that Activision made with Microsoft to do the timed exclusives, that all that did was hurt gamers. Yeah. That's all it did.
Well, it set us against each other as well. It caused a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And really, like we always say, it's not like we're holding hands around the world, but we're gamers. We're there to enjoy games. Yeah. I don't want to bash someone else and call them like that fanboyism. And I think that's all that really did was it caused so much tension between them. And they're doing the same with this amazing FPS.
We understand business better than anyone, right? Oh, yeah. And we understand that business, it's if you've got the cash and you can go to a developer and say, hey, I'll give you $100 million if you give me the DLC a month early.
Yeah.
Okay? But the way I look at it is, hey, make a console that's good, and then whoever plays on whatever console they choose, let them pick the games, right?
Yeah.
Now, especially now. See, now all the consoles are made with PC architecture, which means there's no unique processor in the PS4.
Not like with the PS3, which is problematic.
It's a PC, Xbox One, PS4. the developers, it's equal
Super
architecture.
easy.
There's no porting from one game to the other. They're going to be very easy to develop for each one. And now here we go with splitting it off with exclusives. And I'm just wondering if some people will we don't know who, but if you're so focused on getting exclusives by shelling out hundreds of millions of dollars, are you afraid that you can't compete with the other guys?
Yeah, exactly. It's almost a weakness.
Why are you doing that? Saying, and there's a lot of people that have already said on Twitter, on Facebook, they're saying, hey, you know what? Titanfall looks awesome, but it's not enough to make me buy the Xbox One over the PS4.
Yeah, they may get it. Like me, I'd like to have both because I'm a gamer and I'm a console gamer, from way back. But I do play a lot more now on PC, and so for me, I'm like, well, I'll just try it on the PC. Then normally I want to play my FPS games like Battlefield and Call of Duty. I play it on the PS3 or Xbox or whatever. I mean, I'm partial to the PlayStation, but that's just me. But I'm like, I don't know if it's worth me shelling out, $500 just to play that exclusive. And I'm not a Halo player, so it's.
Halo was fun. That's when I first jumped on Xbox, was when Halo Reach came out, and I guess for some hardcore Halo people, it wasn't the best one, but the campaign was a lot of fun. I mean, that I think it was 4-player you could do. Yeah. Anyway, the campaign was a lot of fun. All these games, it's just like we said, it just hurts gamers when they're exclusives. I can understand on games like Killzone and Halo being exclusives. They're their own studios. Like when Bungie,
they're almost owned.
When Bungie was with Microsoft, I understand that. But not Respawn. Respawn, you guys bummed me out, man.
They come from a multi-platform successful company.
I thought they were going to go big. It was going to be like, hey, now we have the option of a Activision game, an EA game, and a Respawn game. You're talking about Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Titanfall.
They limit their
things.
Growth. Like their potential. They can't be the absolute biggest one out there. No matter what, it will not happen with an exclusive. That's why Battlefield and Call of Duty just destroy it.
It's upsetting. I mean, it is. It's
and upsetting. It is what it is. I do really want to play that game. But anyway.
What else do we have here to wrap up the Xbox?
Wrap it up. So we've got, Watch Dogs multi-platform. It does look good. I mean, you were watching a lot of that.
Yeah, Watch Dogs is going to be good.
Probably all of you have seen a ton of that. There's not really much to talk about other than the fact that it looks amazing from Ubisoft or whatever it is.
Yeah.
For me, this is one, and this is, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if it's exclusive, because if you go online, some only listed as Xbox One or Xbox 360, but some are showing it as PS4, is that Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Yeah.
I like Plants vs. Zombies. My boys play Plants vs. Zombies all the time. It's a fun game, and now this time they're using the Frostbite 3 engine, which is crazy, and turning it into an FPS game.
They've redesigned the whole game. They've redesigned it to where it's like a first-person shooter now. And their trailer, they were running like the Battlefield.
Yeah.
Shaking the screen, and then it said Frostbite 3 engine, so that should be a really fun game.
I mean, even for us to play, it's colorful and it's using a really well-known engine. I mean, that could be a really, and again, multi-platform, hopefully. Multi-platform, so
not sure. From what we saw, it kept listing Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, I looked it up on PS4. It showed it, but when you click on it, it's just saying Xbox. So hopefully, it's not going to.
There's a lot of confusion with these things, with a lot of people maybe last minute jumping on these exclusives. So we're going to learn more as we go along if these games like that are going to be exclusive or not. And these are important things that you guys got to check into when you come to making your decision. There's a lot of I've seen some Twitter feeds where people that were at E3 that I know are Xbox people, that they say they like the new PS3 controller better.
Oh really? That's something I never picked up. But we'll talk about that in the PS4 video. We'll talk about the controller and all the other stuff there, but I did notice it does look drastically different. They're like, hey, by the way, Xbox, come on over here, $100 cheaper. Check this out, it's changed.
Yeah,
for big manly hands.
You're not going to want to miss the PS4 one, because I think there's a lot more changes to that, so you're going to want to see that video. Wrapping up with Xbox One, I think that they made a lot of mistakes. It seems like there is a big common grunt here with the Kinect shipping with the Xbox, which is probably what bumped it up $100 more than the other
technology.
console.
It's a more powerful Kinect, and I guarantee you that's what contributed to that price.
And that this thing's going to be watching you in whatever form it is. You're watching Netflix. There's a lot of rumors going around. We're not going to speculate, but so far what we know for sure is that there's got to be a Kinect on, which is a camera looking at you. It's got to be on if you're going to be online playing. What they're going to do with that,
once every 24-hour online connection,
and why they need that, why they want that, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll change it. We just don't know. There's still enough time for people to maybe see the mistakes that they made and make some tweaks there. And maybe, I think if Microsoft is smart. If Microsoft, you're watching, listen, little tip from me here. Ready?
Listen up, Microsoft.
Do this on release day. Make a console that does not ship with the Kinect.
Oh, yeah.
Make it $399 to match the other console's price, and therefore
no online connectivity.
There'll be no online connectivity that you have to have no camera looking, and then it's going to get real. Now we're talking about an even playing field for choices for gamers.
You know why that's not going to happen, though? And it's not that it's not a good idea.
Arrogance?
It's because of arrogance and ego of some suit-wearing person that just looks at numbers and says, well, that was my idea, and it makes sense.
We've already seen...
He's not a gamer.
We've seen a video clip from, I think it was the CEO.
If you see that, it might have been taken down already.
I think it was on game trailers, something about...
We got to mention it.
Yeah.
We got to mention it. They basically... Maybe it was GameSpot. That was
one of those
big channels, and they were interviewing him. They're like, obviously they were bugging him about why, online connectivity all the time. Why once every 24 hours? Why are we forced to do that? And he's like, well, and he says this. He's like, well, if you don't want that, then stick with the 360. And the guy's like, so if I don't have online connection, you're telling me not to buy the Xbox One and just stick with the 360.
Then he started to backpedal.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, and I'm like,
he said it out of frustration. This guy, this high-ranking Microsoft guy, said it out of frustration. Well, if you don't have that, then that's why we have the 360.
Stick with the 360 if you don't have internet connection. I was like, that is not a good thing.
The interview guy took a step back and said,
he's like, so what you're saying?
And it seemed like Microsoft was trying to take down these video clips that were going up on YouTube.
They're trying to take them down because it does not look good, people.
So it's tough. Look, you guys, we need to pay attention over the next few months. Don't make your decisions now. Pay attention to the developments that happen over the next few months, and hopefully, again, as gamers, we're able to make an informed decision that'll work for us, work for you, work for the individual. That takes the fanboyism out, right?
Yeah.
If you buy a PS4 and I buy an Xbox, cool. That's cool. Yeah. What does it matter if that's what it is?
You shouldn't care what we have.
You're no better than me. I'm no better than you. We're gamers, right? So hopefully the decisions that are able to be made are made informed decisions as more and more we get closer and closer to the holiday season where these things are going to release.
That's right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. This is a long-winded one, wasn't it?
Don't miss the PS4 one. There'll be a lot more on that one.
Yes, sir. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye now.